This story is called The Girl Who Didn't Like Pizza. It's a story about 3 dates, and it ends really badly for me. Not quite sure why I've decided to tell it to you tonight. I think it's some sort of act of catharsis on my behalf. It involves a really bad Irish accent, which I apologise for in advance. I think it's necessary for the narrative, so I'm going to stick with it. So I'd like to remember the title if you could. It's called The Girl Who Didn't Like Pizza. Can you remember that for me?
The girl who didn't like Peter.
Pizza!
Pizza!
The story begins in the autumn of 2017. I was going through what they call in the agricultural circles a bit of a fallow patch. So I fell back on my old friend Tinder, who's sworn off her previously. And she delivered for me the usual list of dubious candidates. Beggars can't be choosers, I thought, as I scrolled through and picked the least less desirable candidate. Is that the right narrative? Whatever. And Julie arranged a date for the following Sunday. The following Sunday rolled around. I woke up horribly hungover. Looked down at the toothy grin staring up at me from my mobile phone and started to type my excuses. But my thumb didn't quite hit the send button. I don't like being stood on a date at the last minute, and I don't want to do that to somebody else, really. And anyway, beggars can't be choosers. So that evening I found myself heading out for the bar to cafe where we'd agreed to have our date. And as convention dictates, I turned up early. Sat myself at the bar and ordered myself one of their lovely Dunkers beers and started listening to the lovely music that they have in Bar de Cafe on a Sunday evening. I started to feel a little bit better about myself. Sat with my back to the door and I heard it creak as it opened, and I turned around and looked over my shoulder, and there walked in a beautiful, curvaceous brunette girl, 10 times as pretty, but unmistakably the girl from the picture. Never has a Tinder profile lied so unflatteringly, I thought. She looked quite pleased to see me too, and was all smiles as she pulled up a stool next to mine. I've got a little bit of a thing about Greece. I lived there for some time, and I really love the place. I love the place, I love the culture, I love the people. She was from Macedonia, but that's close enough for me. She had all the characteristics of a Helen. She was kind of warm and open and a bit saucy. I liked her. And we kind of hit it off. Talked very naturally. And as the evening progressed, our bar stools inched toward each other until our limbs were touching. And I could plant a gentle kiss on her lips at the end of the night, in front of that very dour landlady they have in Bar de Cafe. What a great date! Full of romantic potential. Not a slice of pizza in sight. I love being at the bar. It's my favourite place in the world. I love being at the bar. I love chatting to the people around. I love the freedom. None of this like one-on-one across the table looking each other in the eye. I hate that. You can talk to anyone you want. You can talk to the barman if you get bored. And the bar stools do a little shuffle. Have you noticed? There's a sort of bar stool shuffle that goes on when you're on a date at the bar. Because it's not really very comfortable on the bar stool, is it? No. You sort of have to adjust yourself the whole time, right? You're crossing your legs, you're uncrossing your legs, you're kind of pulling yourself into the bar, you're pushing away. So there's a constant sort of flux going on, and you find that over the course of the evening, the sort of dynamics of your date are reflected in where the bar stools are standing, in their relationship to each other. Sometimes when it really works out, those bar stools just inch towards each other until the rims of the seats are touching. Other times it's a little more circumspect, and they're kind of dancing around each other, keeping a sort of steady distance. And then sometimes, perhaps when I've had a bit too much to drink, One bar stool isn't really respecting the space of another, and sort of chasing it to the net. Kind of moving this way, she's moving hers that way, and finally you start one end of the bar, end up the other. Anyway, I'm rambling. On with the narrative, on with the story. Date 2. Date 2 was in a pizza parlour. Date 2 was in a pizza parlour. I'm not joking, it was in a pizza parlour. It was a Monday night, and so there was really nowhere else to go. She had a salad. Fortuitously enough, so did I. Strange date. No kissing, no drinking. Those were her rules from the get-go. Weird. And it seemed to be some sort of test date, like we had to talk about jobs, our goals in life, our previous relationships. There's a lot of chat from her about being treated badly by men in the past. I wasn't really listening, to be honest, as I stared into those beautiful brown eyes. It's a bit of an odd date, but it's sort of, it passed, you know, it was all right, and we got along. It wasn't like a deal breaker. We were still like comfortable with each other. And I walked her home at the end of the night, and she did let me kiss her, so I figured I'd pass the test. Hurrah. I was a bit resentful of being tested, but you know. Fair play. I mean, she knew what she wanted to get, and I couldn't really fault her for that, actually. Generally, I don't like it, though. I mean, you know, this whole thing about commodifying beauty and having to trade for it, I'm like, I don't want that. I'm sort of resenting it a bit. You know, boys and girls looking at each other like big pieces of chocolate cake and then having to sort of dance around the permission barriers. Surely we can move beyond that in the 21st century, you know? I feel it's like all wrapped up in the patriarchy. There must be a way forward where we can be more enlightened with each other. Yeah, I'm definitely rambling again, aren't I? Okay, good. Back to the story. So date 3. Date 3. Date 3. It was a beautiful sunny day. It was Oktoberfest time. It was Oktoberfest time. And I took the afternoon off work. And the other thing about date 3, which I forgot to say, spontaneous. Yeah, so I took the afternoon off work and went to the Oktoberfest with some friends. I sent her a message because I knew that she had a job interview that day, so I sent her a message to find out how it gone. She said it went really well. She got the job. Let's meet up. Great, fantastic. And I duly finished my drinks with the boys and headed out to find her. Found her in a cafe. There she was with her friend. Very expensive cafe. I bought a very expensive beer. I remember that. But anyway, her friend went eventually, and we headed out on our date. And she wanted to go to Killians. Great, perfect place to make out. Let's go. I'm in. Fantastic. So we head out to Killians. We get a couple of seats. I get the drinks in, and we are having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. It's going well. We're like making out like teenagers right from the get-go. She's got a job. It's a sunny day. I've passed the test. No barriers left. We're just going at it. Full throttle. There was only one problem with this, really, which was that it was a bit early in the day. It's kind of 6:30 or something, and you know, it's not really what you do, is it? You know, you can't really sort of go for it at that stage in the day. It's just not a done thing. So I think both of us sort of realised this at some point. We're like, let's just step back from this situation somewhat and like resume some sort of normal conversation. But it was getting a bit stilted, to be honest. So we're quite grateful when these 4 young Irish boys turned up at our table, big table, and asked if they could join us. It's alright, we're just having a day off from the Oktoberfest here in Killians here. It's alright, we join us, yeah, okay, that's the bad Irish accent bit, obviously. And they sat down and quite pretty friendly, nice boys, all sort of shapes and sizes. And yeah, offered to buy us drinks, but I just got some drinks in again, didn't need drinks. They bought this big pizza, and you know, they wanted us to have a bit of the pizza. I was like, come on, we interrupted you, a lovely couple. I'm sorry to steal it, at least you could do is have some on pizza. Now, as it happened, I was actually pretty hungry. I hadn't eaten anything all day. So I did have some of their pizza. Actually, I had 3 slices of their pizza. Looking back, that was an error. But I didn't know that at the time. And it kind of passed nicely enough. We chatted to the boys for a bit. She was talking to the boys quite happily, which I like. You know, she wasn't too snobbish to talk to a bunch of sort of slightly odd-looking Irish boys. Yeah, it was nice. And we sort of, you know, eventually we turned our attention back to each other and started sort of more gently having a nice flirtatious time together and making out again a bit. And it was sort of back on. And I was again in this lovely kind of romantic zone, looking into her eyes, when there was this voice suddenly calling my name. It's Simon. Simon, I bet I can down this pint faster than you can down yours. What the fuck is that? It was Big Phil. He was one of the Irish boys. Big Phil across the table looking at me with a cheeky grin. Hey Simon, I bet I can down this pint faster than you can. Hey Phil, thanks, yeah. I'd beat you, mate. But it's a date night, right? So best not, eh? We'll leave it. Alright. He let it go. But not for long. He looked back. Hey Simon, I bet I'll give you 2 second head start. I bet I could still drink this litre of beer faster than you can drink yours. Phil, really, thanks, but I'm not up for this, alright? This stage his friends are starting to get a little control, cheer him on a bit, you know. But I hold firm. Doesn't give up though. Hey Simon, I'll give you a 5 second head start. I bet I can still drink this beer faster than you. The boys are now cheering for it. I'm feeling a bit cornered. In desperation, I turn to my date. What's she thinking? Go on, it's a great idea. It'd be funny, you can do it. Come on, Simon, have a go. There's no way out. Slowly, I swivel myself round to face the big, malicious, cheeky grin of Big Phil. I pick up my beer and I start chugging. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 6th second, Big Phil, who already has the glass on his lips, in one swift movement of his wrist, empties the entire litre of beer down his big, open, fat gullet. It was over. But not before I'd had 6 seconds of downage. Now, I don't know how carefully you've been following this story, ladies and gentlemen, but I can tell you, by this point in the evening, Simon Grizzly has an awful lot of beer inside him. The rest of the evening, something of a blur. All a bit patchy. There was some more drinking contests with the Irish boys, yes, and then there was some French boys involved as well, I think, at some point. I was mourning my date a bit heavy, she was telling me off, yeah. There was a karaoke singing moment, and then there was, my girl had disappeared. She was gone. I panicked. Where's she gone? I ran round Killians. She wasn't there. Where'd she gone? Ran out to the Marienplatz. Ran round Marienplatz. Couldn't find her. There she was. Just walking down the steps into Marienplatz U-Bahn. I ran over to her, profuse apologies burbling out of my drunken mouth. She turned round and she looked at me icy cold. And she said, "Just go." The next morning, I woke up in my lonely flat in Munich, feeling pretty fucking stupid, I can tell you. And I sent her a message to apologise. Actually, I sent her lots of messages to apologise. She only replied to me once, and I screenshotted the message for posterity. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Starts from my side. Dear Alex, I'm really sorry about last night. I don't know what happened, I just lost control. The minute that big guy challenged me to a drinking contest, I knew our night was over. I just couldn't back down. I really hope you can forgive me. She replied, Dear Simon, if you really want to know when that night was over, it's when you took a bite of their pizza. That's against my principles. Not that you did something wrong, but that was my answer. Later, it was just a bonus. Like you stopped dancing with me to play beer pong. Fair enough. And what's the next screen? I've lost it. Doesn't matter. Words to effect of, I'm sorry, Simon, but that was too much. I don't want to see you again.